question. So, you guys know what an inequality is?
Yes.
Yeah, not equal. So this is an equation because it has an equals. Inequality would be less than, greater than, not equal to, anything besides equal. Okay, if A equals B plus C, then what's an inequality that I know has to be true about these? Assuming B and C are positive, what's an inequality that has to be true?
B plus C equals A.
That's not an inequality, that's an equation.
Oh, B plus A?
No.
Not equal C, sorry.
Well, if B was 0, it would be. Okay, what I know is that A, if these two add up to A, I know A would have to be bigger than either of them, right? If B plus C, if two numbers add up to A and they're positive, then A would have to be bigger than either of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, wait, let me see.
Are we using our brains? Have we turned them on yet, Mari?
Nope.
Okay, if A is equal to B plus C, then A must be bigger than B, or A must be bigger than C. That's, yeah, if they're both positive numbers. If they're negative, that kind of screws it up. But in geometry, we don't use negatives that often because we're usually talking about the length of something or how many degrees something is. Those are positive numbers. Anyways, that's supposed to be an A. So once upon a time, we had a theorem. Yes, this is a good story.
It doesn't sound like one.
What do I know about some of these angles?
3 plus 4 equals 180. 3 plus 1 plus 2 equals 180.
Right. 3 plus 4 is 180. 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 180. So
4 is equal to 1.
I know that 180 has to be bigger than 3, for example, right? Because 3 plus 4 is 180, so 180 is bigger than angle 3. Does that make sense? This is called the comparison property. That thing that I talked about before, or this, is a comparison property. If two little things add up to the big thing, then the big thing has to be bigger than the two things that added up to it. Like angle 3 plus angle 4 equals 180, therefore 180 is bigger than angle 3, or 180 is bigger than angle 4. But there's something else we knew besides these two are 180 or these three are 180. You guys know what else we know in this triangle?
1 plus 2 equals 4.
Right. Exterior angle is equal to the sum of the far interior angles, the remote interior angles. So 1 plus 2 equals 4. Therefore, angle 4 would have to be bigger than angle 1. Or angle 4 would have to be bigger than angle 2. Both of those. Okay, that is called the exterior angle inequality theorem. Angle 4 is an exterior angle. It's an inequality because it's bigger than 1 or 2. That's inequality theorem. Anyway, those are kind of the two things for today. Man, actually that's not all. Those are the two, that's the property and the theorem that we learned, I guess. Okay, does that make sense? Are we good so far? Okay, in a triangle, let me get out the fancy triangle. Let's get a nice looking triangle here.
Should be red.
No.
Can it be black?
Already is.
Okay.
Trevor wins.
No, I don't want to do that. Okay, on this triangle, what's the biggest side on this triangle? Okay, that's not an hypotenuse. Why is it not a hypotenuse?
Oh, yeah.
Girls, are you listening?
That's a line second.
Okay, what's the biggest side?
AC.
AC. What's the biggest angle?
B.
ABC.
I mean, just B.
You can just call it angle B.
Oh.
Because if there's only one angle in the picture, if it doesn't look like this, That you cannot call angle B. That can be called angle B. Angle B is the biggest angle, side AC is the biggest side. What's the smallest angle, do you think? It's kind of hard.
Either A or C.
Kind of hard to tell. I think this one is a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Yeah, so it would be angles.
I should have drawn this a little differently. I think this is small. What's the smallest side?
BC.
No, I believe it's this one.
Yeah.
Could you cover
It's pretty close.
longest side?
Here,
Yeah, that's the problem.
let's see if I'm right.
Yeah, AB is.
Oh wait, that's smart.
You're a little bit off.
No, I think I could change the
Don't
length
insult him.
like this though.
Yellow.
Anyway,
Plus it wasn't directly on.
AB is smaller. Anyway, so notice the small angle opens up to the small side. And the big angle opens up to the big side. If you think about it, it makes sense. If the crocodile opens its mouth, the wider the opening, this would be the angle. The wider the opening, the larger the gap is on the other side, right? So if this is my crocodile here, that's a really, I don't think a crocodile can open its mouth that wide, but
Oh wait, I get it.
Whoa.
you guys see it?
That's so cool.
If the crocodile opens its mouth really wide, this gap between the jaws is going to be really big. So here's the theorem. If you have, or actually I think it's postulate, if you have a wide angle, a big angle is across from the big side, or a tiny angle is across from the smaller side. And then of course the medium angle would be across from the medium. I don't know if they, let's see, I don't know if they named it or not. You don't have to name it in the assignment. It says the greater angle theorem and the longer side theorem. So you can also say it backwards. The longest side is across from the largest angle. The shortest side is across from the shortest angle. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Say it's a good Wednesday assignment for today. Okay, we are on page 224. You guys ready?
Absolutely not.
Are you on page 224?
Yeah. No.
Tristan, do you need revived?
Was he ever alive?
I can solve that in 2 seconds.
I'll do it.
Time for your baptism.
I don't think that.
Why
Okay.
don't they need the
It's messy, though. I don't know. Number 1. Okay, it says list the sides in list the side lengths of each triangle from shortest to longest. So on number 1, what is the smallest angle?
AC?
What's the smallest angle?
45.
Yeah, 45 degrees. Angle B is smallest. So what is the smallest side on number 1? AC. The smallest angle opens up to the smallest side. Why did I not put a line segment symbol on top?
It's not a line segment.
It is a line segment, but we're talking about the lengths of the segment. The smallest length is the length of AC. All right, anyways. So what's the medium angle? What's the medium angle? C. So what's the medium side? No. C is the medium angle, that's up here. It opens up to the medium side, so that would be down here. So what's the medium side? AB. Somebody doing a presentation or something?
What do we do if we have two angles that are...
Okay, so what does that leave for the largest side?
CB.
CB. Or BC. 'Cause it's
What do
tough.
we do if we have two sides that are equal?
You just put them right next to each other.
Okay.
Okay, let's do one more of these, I guess. Number 3. Okay, what's the smallest angle on number 3?
QP.
Smallest angle on number 3.
Oh, angle.
R. So what's the smallest side on number 3?
RQ.
No. Okay, the small mouth opens up to the small side. The small mouth,
P.
the small opening opens up to the small side. So the angle that is the smallest is going to have the opposite side that's the smallest. This small angle makes the small side over here. So the smallest angle on 3 is angle 42 degrees. So what's the smallest side on number 3? QP. You see it in the picture? You see 42 degrees in the picture. Do you see that it opens up to QP? So the small angle opens up to the small side. So QP is the smallest. Okay, what's the next smallest on number 3? The next smallest angle is angle P. What side does angle P open up to? QR. And then the largest side, obviously, would have to be the last one, so it's RP.
Security guy.
Security.
What do we
My
do?
spidey senses are tingling.
What do we do when the angles are equal?
You just, if the angles are equal, you just put them on right next to each other. Okay, number 7, kind of the same thing, but I'm skipping 5, by the way. You guys can do it. Number 7, list the angles of each triangle from smallest. So it's the same thing, but this time we're doing angles. So the smallest angle is going to be across from the smallest side. What's the smallest side on number 7? 14. So what would the smallest angle be? F. So angle F goes first, and it's kind of obvious by looking at it, but what's the next smallest angle? Yeah. G is definitely the biggest, right? 15 is a little bit bigger side, so H is a little bit bigger angle. And the largest is 27 by far, so G is by far the largest angle. Small to big. Order does matter on these.
Do we gotta put the angles on?
Yeah, go ahead and call it angle, FHG. Number, I'm not gonna do number 9. Actually, let's jump to number 15. These are easy enough, I don't think you guys need my help. 15,
We
yes.
don't do 15.
15.
You do 10.
25.
Somebody change this.
Goofy goober.
Huh?
Is that you, Carson?
No, I didn't. Usually good.
What?
I thought today
I was
was
so excited.
Sunday.
I wrote it down.
That was great.
Oh.
You should. Oh, wait, we're doing 10-3-15?
That's so.
Ah.
Oh.
Somebody's being funny.
It wasn't.
Oh.
You almost.
These are easy, you guys should not complain about this.
Whoever did this, it was not fun.
I know we subverted your
Hey guys, be
expectations.
honest. Who was it?
Yeah, I did it. I think it was. Somebody raise your hand. I think it was mine.
So we can tar and feather. Okay, number 15, compare the measures, then name the property or theorem that justifies your answer. So, in that picture, would angle 4 or angle 2 have to be bigger? In the picture, I'm on the 15, would angle 4 or angle 2 have to be bigger? In the picture, would angle 4 or angle 2 have to be bigger? Angle 4. Okay, remember that the mouth eats the big one, right? So the mouth should be open that way. Angle 4 is bigger. Okay, by what theorem, or postulate, property I guess it says, what's the rule that says that's true for number 15? What kind of angle is angle 4? It's an exterior angle to triangle BAD, right? Angle 4 is an exterior angle to triangle BAD. Exterior angle has to be bigger than the 2 remote angles that would add up to it. So that's why we know angle 4 is bigger than angle 2. So what's the theorem called? exterior angle inequality. Lots of big words. Theorem. What a mouthful. Okay, 17. Which angle is bigger, angle 2 or angle ABC? You guys see ABC in the picture? Which angle is bigger, angle 2 or angle ABC? ABC. How do we know that ABC is bigger than angle 2? Well, we know that angle 1 plus angle 2 equals angle ABC, right? So obviously angle ABC would have to be bigger. If the two little things add up to the bigger thing, then the bigger thing has to be bigger than the two little things. That's called comparison property. So the mouth eats the big one, right? So ABC is on the right side, so it should look like that, less than symbol. It's called comparison property. The two little things that add up to the big thing have to be smaller than the big thing they add up to. Number 19. State the property of inequality represented by each example in exercise 19 through 23. Let's see if you guys remember this one. We might be a little rusty. I don't think we've used this one in a few weeks. The genealogies in Genesis 5 record that Methuselah lived longer than Jared, and Jared lived longer than Lamech. Therefore, Methuselah lived longer than Lamech. Yeah, you guys remember transitive property? A equals B, B equals C, then A equals C. Same thing, but this time it's, instead of the transitive property of equality, it's the transitive property of inequality, because if A is bigger than B and B is bigger than C, then A is bigger than C. You guys remember transitive property? So it's transitive property of inequality. In the past it's been equals, not less than or greater than. Now it's less than or greater than, so it's inequality. Okay, let's talk about 20 because they'll be weeping and gnashing of teeth if I don't. In the parable of the talents in Matthew chapter 25, the first servant received 5 talents, the second got 2. While the master was away, both of the servants doubled their talents. Therefore, the first had more than the second. So, what is that property called? What on earth are they talking about? So, the first guy got 5, the next guy got 2, and the first guy got more than that. And then it says they doubled both, right? So, what property is that? What was it called when, back when we did these, when you multiplied the same side of when you multiply both sides of the equation by the same value and it stayed equal? Nope. Multiply both sides of the equation and it's still equal? Okay, yeah, it was called multiplication property of equality. It's like an algebra rule, right? But now it's called multiplication property of inequality. It also works on inequality. Multiplication property of inequality. That was like back in chapter 2. We did a lot of those. Okay, on 25.
Wait.
Multiplication property of inequality. On 25, List the segments in order from shortest to longest. How many segments are in the picture on 25?
7.
Nope.
5.
5.
Alright. Oh, 1, 2. No doubt.
5 segments. Okay. So what segment do they share? TR. In the right triangle, TR is the what side? Huh? In the right triangle, how does TR compare to the other sides?
It's the biggest triangle, TRS,
Right.
but it's the smallest of
Okay, in the right triangle, TR is the biggest. How did he know that? Because it's across from the biggest angle on the right. But on the left triangle, it's the smallest side. Because it's across from the smallest angle on the left triangle. So TR is the biggest of the left triangle, but it's the smallest of the right. So which triangle must be bigger? The left or the right?
The right. The left.
Let me say it again, think about it for a second. TR is the smallest side on the left, but it's the biggest side on the right.
Wait, let me think. I'm gonna talk to you. If it's the biggest side on the right, that means that. Wait, my brain's really good. What are you saying?
It's kind of like saying, I don't know, that my analogy might
That
be
means that it's
confusing.
the biggest one on the left. The left is the bigger side. No, that is saying.
If TR is a big fish on the right triangle, but it's a small fish on the left triangle, then the left triangle is the big guy.
They're the same.
If TR is a big side on the right triangle, but it's only a small side on the left triangle, then the left triangle must be the big guy.
Because then the other sides on the left triangle.
It's kinda like-
have to be bigger.
Yeah, it's kind of like saying when we play 1A schools, we're like the best team, but when we play 2A schools, we're the worst. That might not be true, but
He said that fish thing again.
the fish one. Okay,
It's
TR.
just fishing for answers.
TR is the biggest fish on the right triangle, but it's only the smallest fish on the left triangle. So which triangle must be bigger? The left one.
I was thinking too much into it.
Anyway, so the right one's the small one. So what's the smallest side on the right triangle? It's going to be the smallest side overall. What is the smallest side on the right triangle? RS, yeah. RS is across from that small 56 degrees, right? So RS is the smallest. And then it says, what's the second smallest?
TR.
The smallest angle, the second smallest angle is 60 degrees. What's across from 60 degrees? TS. TS, Elliot. Which leaves what side for the largest on the right triangle? TR, the one in the middle.
Do we have to
Okay.
do each triangle individually?
There's 5, no, we got 2 more. There's 5 sides, 5 segments.
Well, yeah, but isn't that just on the right triangle or?
Well, TR is a segment. It's the biggest segment on the left, that's why it's the third one. But it's going to be smaller than the 2 on the right.
So I'm asking if you just did the right triangle and then you're doing the left triangle.
Well, we're doing all of it. Okay,
Well,
so TR is the smallest one on the left. So what's the second smallest one on the left? Yeah, 60 degrees across from QR. 60 degrees is the second smallest angle, QR is the second smallest side. Then what's that leave for the largest side? QT. You guys keep up with that one?
Not really. Yeah. I tried. So
That one we need to
That was
I
also-
changed up on two.
Okay, which one?
Number 14 to 16.
Number two?
Not number two, just two.
Oh yeah, which ones?
18 and 14, what are the reasons?
Okay.
I don't get them.
Oh, guys, on 14 through 18, the reasons are going to be the same as these reasons.
So either exterior angle inequality theorem or
Comparison
transitive
property.
property,
Oh.
transitive property of inequality.
Did I write them down? Where did I write that at?
It's either
Can you
going to
not
be
get
comparison property
So-
or exterior angle inequality theorem.
There it is. Yeah, these are like your two options. It's either exterior angle inequality theorem or comparison property. Yeah.
Does that mean 14 is the comparison?
Yeah, 14, ABC is a straight angle, right? So 3 plus 4 would equal 8. Yes, you're right. Don't forget to put the inequality also.
Not 25.